Hello, this is the TCG Show. Sorry about the late start. We had our lines crossed a little bit with our time zones, but I'm Marilyn. This is the TCG Show. I'm here with Daniel from Vortex. We met at a New Jersey TCG Show back in December. I was very honored that he came. He was one of the first out-of-state vendors or people that had come to visit the TCG Show. And I'd like to welcome him so he could tell us a little bit more about Vortex and what they're doing. So welcome, Daniel.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate the invite, and yeah, it was totally worth it. I'm so glad I came to the show. Got to meet you and a lot of the other vendors there, that familiar names and all that stuff. So, but like you said, my name's Daniel. I'm with Vortex. You've probably seen us all over on Whatnot. Vortex Breaks, Vortex Cards, even Vortex Collects, our third channel that we just started up officially. So. Um, we're all over the place on Whatnot when it comes to streaming. So excited to be here, though.
How many streamers do you have that are working with Vortex?
I think we've got 22 right now.
Wow.
Yeah, so quite a bit.
Are they all streaming opening packs of Pokemon, or are there any other games that they're like TCGs that they're opening?
Sure. So the majority of what we do and kind of the way we started with Vortex Breaks, just all singles, just raw
Uh-huh.
singles, $1 starts. I think we were the first channel on Whatnot that kind of adopted like rapid fire singles on Vortex Breaks. We rolled out Vortex cards in January of last year of 2024. And this year we're focusing our sights on our third channel, but I would say we're about 90% singles, maybe 10% pack ripping. Sometimes we'll do slab shows, but
Wow.
primarily just 100% Pokemon. We're hoping to get into other areas, but that's where we're focusing
Yeah.
for now.
Were you always into Pokemon, like ever since you were a kid, or how did you get into it?
Oh yeah, when I was a kid, I remember my mom taking me to Kmart, when they were still in business, and getting super excited when she'd let me grab a pack when they were like, $3 or $4. Yeah, I've been collecting since I was a little kid. I don't have the same collection.
Uh-huh.
I feel like we all went through this phase where like we loved it, and then we're like, hey, I want to get rid of these and sell them so I can, buy whatever. I
Right.
think I sold my childhood binder at a garage sale for like
Oh man.
$15 or something. Like I feel like everyone has that story, but
Yeah.
I picked it back up just before COVID. Funny enough, I started getting into it like right before the boom happened, and when that happened, I'm just like, what in the world is going on right now? And so many new people to the space. It was really, really good for Pokemon in some ways, not so good in other ways, but
Mm.
overall for the community, I think it brought a lot more people to the hobby as a whole.
How do you source all the products that everyone is opening? Do all the breakers or the streamers, do they have to source their own products, or are you guys, do you have distribution? How are you sourcing everything?
Yeah, we've got a little bit of a mix there. The majority of our streamers are independents, so they work as independent contractors just under the Vortex umbrella. So they all source their own product. I will say we've got some members on our team that are they're hourly like a typical job, or we just try to source whatever we can for the team. And when I say we, I mean Josh. Josh is the owner and founder of the Vortex Breaks brand. I'm active COO. We just started our third channel, Vortex Collects, and me and Josh partnered up for that one, and we're opening a physical location down here in Alabama. We got some
Oh,
really exciting
wow.
stuff for 2025. But to answer your question, it's a little bit of both. We try to feed the team whenever we can, whenever we find lots of product or new sets come out, like Terrestrial Festival. We went really heavy with that, and we got that out to everyone on the team. So it's It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun for sure.
What were you doing before you started with Vortex?
Oh man. So I was a project manager for the last 10 years before I took that scary jump,
Uh-huh.
and quit my job and pursued streaming and all things Vortex full time. That was June of last year, so I haven't even been I technically full time for a full year yet. So um, lots of project management stuff, spreadsheets and all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
So I'm pretty good with that
You're
kind
like,
of stuff too. So
yep. You like the organization? Are you? You're
yeah,
like,
yeah.
now, how did you get started? Were you doing breaks or were you doing singles? Did you start with whatnot streaming yourself and then you joined with Vortex, or how did you get started?
Yeah, so funny enough, Josh and we actually met on a Facebook group. So he had a big part of a Facebook group, him and one other person. Um, and I just joined the Facebook group. It was like a buy sell trade group, stuff like that. I joined the group and kind of found community there, like 2020, early 2020, second quarter, somewhere around there, and we just got to talking and like we did like little live stream rips on Facebook Live, just for fun, not even selling anything, just going live and opening stuff for the page and the group. And then Josh actually got accepted to Whatnot. I can't remember the exact timeline there. I'm bad with dates,
Yeah.
but he got started. I think he did like one show, and he's like, man, like you guys need to come over here and like it's a lot of fun, So I came on over, and we just kept adding to our team from there and growing it into what it is now. We started from nothing, just like everybody else on Whatnot, and just kind of grinded it out. But it's been a long journey so far, but I feel like we're just getting started for sure.
Yeah, it's exciting to hear that you're opening a physical location. That's huge to try and go from like online selling and streaming and now physical retail location. How much space is
Mhm.
it going to be?
So we don't
Do you
have the
have do you have to
location.
buy it? Oh,
Yeah, we don't have the location nailed down yet. We're looking at a couple different opportunities here in the Fairhope area, Daphne, maybe even towards Gulf Shores. It's all pretty local down here, but we're trying to find a good space. We don't need like a huge space, but the idea there is we're going to have a place for streamers to come and go. Whenever they can commute to the location, live stream, they can go home. We're going to have our packaging team working out of that facility as well. It's probably not going to be a conventional brick and mortar shop, like there's a few of them down here, very reputable. Gulf Coast Hobby, shout out to those guys. They've been super helpful with any questions we've had and support. And but we're looking to be open maybe like 2 to 3 days a week, something like that, just to have people come in. We'll do like tournaments, trades. We're thinking about like TCG pocket tournaments, just fun stuff to do to be
yeah.
open for the public. But majority of it's just going to be just in-house streaming.
Yeah, it'll probably be a little easier with shipping too if you have like a central location where everyone's
Mhm.
streaming and then you'll be able to ship from one location rather than everyone shipping from their own place if you have anyone that's going to be doing your shipping for you.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
yeah.
There's a lot of advantages to it, and we've got one of our streamers and one of my really good friends, JC. He's actually moving down here as well.
Oh,
Actually, I think he was thinking of coming up to New Jersey maybe this weekend. I'm not sure if he has
oh.
time, but
We're having a
yeah,
show this weekend, so if he's in the area,
oh yeah, for sure. I would 100% be there. Like if you're watching this, like you guys need to go. It's worth the travel, but I'm moving, so sadly I
yeah.
can't.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you could get when it's a little warmer in New Jersey. Maybe you could head up to the show. We have lots of stuff scheduled for later on in the year. it was just so wild to, I mean, like the show that you went to was our first like really big show. It was 140 tables, and then it was just kind of someone canceled the last minute, and someone from your
Hmm.
team contacted me, and it was like, come on down. So I was so happy that you guys got to experience that.
Yeah,
It
it
was
was it was a lot of fun. Like I've never been to I went to a New Jersey Collecticon last year. That was like massive. And
right.
I didn't know what to expect, and when Taz said, "Hey, you should come over." And that, like, your convention you put on is so great. It's so well organized, it's easy, there's so many vendors there. I didn't come across any vendors that were like hard to work with. That all of them were willing to talk to me about whatever it was, and just a really great experience. Yeah, I've gone to so many conventions. I probably attend 30 a year,
Wow.
sometimes even more. And I can say yours definitely stands out, for sure. So
No, thank you. Yeah,
kudos to
I work
that.
really hard. I work really hard, and we like I really love the vendors that we work with. Everyone, especially the show that you went to, that it's all people that have been working with me for a long time, and if not a long time, then it's people that we're kind of like hand selecting to make sure that we have like a really good group of people who are, it's strictly TCG. So we
Hmm.
want to make sure that we're getting more Pokemon, more Yu-Gi-Oh, more Magic. We want to just make sure that people are really getting in contact with the cards. So,
Yeah.
but what do you do many conventions? Or are you mostly a collect? I know you said you do about 30 a year. Is it mostly collecticons, or do you do any of the smaller shows?
It's a little bit of everything. Collecticons are definitely on our radar. There's certain ones that we don't attend much of anymore, just because of logistically, it just doesn't make sense for us, and a lot of the team travel together. And we try to be as close knit as we can, and sometimes the smaller shows or medium sized shows are just better. They're more intimate. It's a lot less intimidating for some of our newer streamers, and we plan to have a presence, vending, for 2025, where we really haven't had that before. We've attended all these conventions, but it's mainly just walking around, buying. And we intend to do the same thing for this year, but we're going to have a stronger vending presence. We had a professionally made, banner, table covers. We went like top of the line with everything, because we found that a lot of people, like, they know that we're there because of social media. Like, everyone on our team says, "Hey, we're going to be at this and this convention on this date," or, "We're here, come find us." Well, they never find us because we don't have any kind of banner, know what I mean? Like, no representation at a vending table. Whereas, this year we're planning to totally rehaul that. We want you guys to be able to find Vortex at any show you go to. With our vast array of streamers, it's very possible that any convention worth going to, there's going to be some kind of Vortex representation there, and that's really what we want. And just kind of trying to change it up a little bit this year. So
Yeah, I highly recommend that when anyone's coming as a new vendor or even established vendor, that I'm a big fan of the lists. I make sure that there's a list of all the vendors that I'm having, and I want people to be able to find who they're looking for, because if you're posting online, you have this and this is for sale at my show, I want whoever to find you. So
mhm.
I'm a huge fan of the branding, wearing a shirt, getting a banner, getting the table covers, getting anything just to get your name out there, and having a social media presence. How important is it for you to have a social media presence with the Vortex brand?
So I'll be completely honest. We're slacking a little bit in that area. We've been so hyper focused on what works for us, and building our team and our representation and footprint on Whatnot. That's the only app that we stream on. It's honestly the best way to buy cards, in my opinion. You get a little bit of everything, and sometimes you can request things that you want. But anyways, getting off topic here. Yeah, social media, it's something we definitely want to get better at for this year. But like I said, we're trying to focus on like what we know and what works for us, and we know there's a benefit there, but it's just kind of getting that ball rolling,
Yeah.
staying focused for it. So
And I plus with all of your streamers being kind of independent, they're all kind of have their own social media presence that bring
mhm.
people into whatnot. Are you actively looking for more streamers, or how does someone become part of your team?
Sure. So I'll start with the second question first. How does someone join Vortex? We get asked multiple times every week from different
Mhm.
people. You know, Not going to call anyone out, but some people are very, very persistent. It's
Are they in the
it's
chat? No.
yeah. I don't see a chat right now, but maybe
Okay.
maybe do I hit the chat button? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I hit the chat button now, so maybe I can see
Okay. You can
people.
see them.
But
Okay.
there's we get asked that all the time, and what I tell people is it's typically not something that you guys can reach out to us and you'll be added to the team. It's something that I won't say how we find the people that we find exactly, but I'll just say that like we put a lot of time and effort. You can maybe you can pick Taz's brain. Maybe he can give you a short little story on how he got added to Vortex cards and how I found
Uh-huh.
him. But I'll say that there was like a 2 month lead time to me knowing about him not knowing that I knew about him, and we like to do our due diligence and add the right people because as I said, like they're all independents,
Mhm.
and we encourage them to market themselves and grow their own brand, independently while still representing Vortex. But at the same time, you have to be so picky because they represent your brand whenever they hit that live button. So anything
Right.
they say, do, business practices, that kind of thing while they're live, that represents Vortex as a whole. So we take a lot of pride that we add only the right people, and they go through a very vigorous review process before we would even entertain reaching out to them. So basically what I'm saying is anyone on Vortex has basically made it to the big leagues.
Oh.
That's what we like to say. But um, to your other question, or if we're looking for streamers, we actively are, for our third channel, Vortex Collects. Um, that's primarily going to be a rip and ship channel. So where Vortex breaks, Vortex cards are primarily singles. This one's going to be focused primarily on pack rips, because we want to offer that kind of stuff to our viewers and loyal buyers on whatnot, and kind of change it up a little bit. And we're looking for people that live locally down here in Alabama. As I said, we're going to be opening up a sort of Streamlab location. So yeah, if anyone's watching, if you or someone would be interested, we've been posting applications pretty heavily on our Instagram stories. So you should see a link pop up at least a couple times a week. So looking for the right people for sure.
Oh, so in I'm sorry, you went from you were in you're in Alabama now. Where were you from? And is the reason why you moved to Alabama to be closer to everyone in Vortex? And is that where your partner lives, or where is
Yeah,
he?
yeah, absolutely. So Josh lives down here. He actually just moved from Arkansas down here. This is where he
Oh
grew
wow.
up, and he talks so highly of the area. And we'd vacation down here to Orange Beach and Gulf Shores, and we loved it every time
Yeah.
we come. And he's like, "Man, if you ever move down here, like we could do something big for the brand." And we committed to we rented a house. I rented a house with one of my buddy JC, and we we rented out for 4 months. Technically, I still have that house for another month.
I,
Well, I'm already in this house, and a house in Indiana. Like I'm all over the place, but yeah, I moved down here really just for this opportunity, and it's so much easier when you work. You can talk to someone face to face and like go somewhere and talk, and it's harder just to do everything over the phone. And we kind of knew that once we were down here, we're like, yeah, this makes sense. Like we just need to stay. And so originally, I'm from Indiana. I was born and raised there. I've lived there pretty much my whole life. So
wow. And you're shooting your shot. You're going for it. That's awesome. That's
absolutely.
incredible. I mean, like to see someone follow their dreams, it's just so did you think
Oh no,
that
not
when you got
ever.
back into it, like we're little, like pre-pandemic, that you would be dedicating your life to, or I'm
No.
dedicating your life is a little dramatic, but I mean, like, did you
Yeah,
think that you
like
would be moving your careers from project management to going on full time as a
no.
streamer and the whole Vortex universe? Like that's
Yeah.
really incredible to think that you can take your hobby and just take it to the next level and the next level, and having all of these people that work with you and are part of your team. That's so impressive. But to see how everything in Pokemon and TCG as a whole has just been able to been the launch pad for people's lives and careers. It's incredible to see that something you started as a friendship in a Facebook group is now going to be a whole, like, it's a huge team.
Yeah, it's been incredible. Like I feel like I have like this conversation with my wife Sarah, or I'll have this conversation with Josh or JC or whoever. I feel like we have this conversation like at least once a month where we're looking around at like everything that we've accomplished and like what we're working on, and I'm like, how did we get here?
Right.
Like I won't say I hated my job in project management because I enjoyed the project part of it, but the corporate side, always answering to someone, the typical complaints people have working a nine to
Mhm.
five. I wanted out of it so bad, and I not to dive too deep into it, but I put in my 2 weeks notice, and I had an interview at another job, and it was very very well paying job. Like I would be an idiot not to take it, right? Well, I had 2 weeks in between where I started the next job, and and my last day was at my other job, and I was like, I'm just gonna try to like stream like an
Mhm.
extra like 2 shows a week and just see what that looks like for 2 weeks. After the first week, I was like, I am not going back. Like I'm gonna stick with streaming. We're gonna keep building this team and see what we can do. Because at the time we just had the Vortex breaks, like we just had the one channel, and it's surreal to me. And if anyone's watching or listening, like if I can do this, you guys 100% can. Like I don't feel like I'm anyone special, I'm just a regular guy that like just works hard and tries to have a vision for everything. And um I just want to have fun with what I'm doing. I wouldn't even be doing this if I wasn't having fun. And that needs to be at the forefront of whatever it is that you try to do, at least in my opinion. And it's crazy what you can accomplish when you believe in yourself, and you believe in the people around you, and you surround yourself with just really good people. um, yeah, it's been incredible. I'm very privileged to be in the position that I am today, and to be able to work with the people I work with, be a part of this community. And it's been great. I can't wait to see what we do this year. So
Yeah, I'm excited for you. I mean, like it really is the sky's the limit, and you really could just go into so many different directions. I mean, you have the physical
Mhm.
location, you could have more streaming channels. You really could do anything. And it's great that you guys have the flexibility of having people who are so many on your team. So do people have their own schedule? Do they make their own schedule? Do you say, okay, we need someone to stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or how does that work?
Mhm.
How do you schedule people on the team?
Yeah, so we just have a set schedule for each channel. Every 30 days or so, we have like a we have like a round table where we reach out to each streamer and be like, "Hey, are you happy with your hours? Is there anything in your life that's popped up where maybe it's inconvenient to stream at this time or start at this time?" And then, we make small adjustments every 30, 60 days, something like that. We try to accommodate everyone that we can, in a corporate atmosphere. I'm sure everyone's familiar with it. Like, your schedule is 8 to 5 every single
Mhm.
day, unless you're working like an evening or overnight or something. But like, it doesn't waver. Like, that's your shift, like from here till eternity until you leave.
Mhm.
So here, like, we try to accommodate everybody. I've got a family. I've got a beautiful daughter that, like, I want to spend as much time with it I can. My wife, and we want everyone to have that family time. And I feel like that's why we chose this kind of career path, because you get to work from home. And even when you travel, like, you can take your family with you if you wanted to. A lot of our guys, me included, my wife and my daughter will just come with me to a convention. We'll make it kind of like a little getaway thing. um, so it is a set schedule, but like I said, we kind of change it as needed, as people's lives develop, and maybe they want more hours, maybe they want to scale back on hours. There's always someone looking for more hours, and if we ever found that someone was like, "Hey, this has been great, like, this has been so much fun, but I want to focus on this and go down to one day," then, like, as I said, there's a lot of people always asking, but there's a lot of people on our short list too, where we're like, "Hey, if that ever happens, we have enough time to slot people in. We can give them a call," kind of thing. So
What is the benefit of working with a team like Vortex versus just being independent?
sure. So we just bring a lot of value as a team. When it comes to Whatnot, your algorithm is everything, and we
Mhm.
don't have the inside scoop on the algorithm. I know some of you guys will be sad to hear that. We don't
No, I
have
need to
that.
know.
We don't have the scoop. I wish we did, but it's very telling that the more stream hours that you have on average on a daily basis, it seems that's the better the algorithm is to you. You show up on the For You page, for more users when they first log in. Brand new account. If you download Whatnot, we're usually top three. If it's a brand new account, you don't even select what categories you like. Vortex Breaks, Vortex Cards is normally one of the top three channels that you see when you
Wow.
first open the app. And that's I think that speaks a lot to just the team that we've built, the consistency that we have, and the overall first time buyer user experience. We have so many first time buyers in almost every single show, and we really try to go out of our way to make sure that they're taken care of. We do $1 starts on everything. Some stuff goes low, some stuff goes a little bit high, some stuff hits right at value. And the way that we go to conventions and buy large collections, we buy them at like a set percentage. And some shows we do good on, some shows we're like, "Hey, maybe I broke even," but
Yeah.
it's okay. It happens sometimes, and that's just kind of part of the game. We try not to complain too much when stuff goes low, and because we're not going to complain when it goes high either, so it
Mhm.
kind of averages out. And we just try to create just like a really fun experience for everybody, and try to provide that entertainment aspect, rather than just putting a phone in front of a camera, which anyone can do. We try to provide a little bit of everything. So
Do you advise your streamers on what to buy and when to buy and how much you should buy and all of that, or is it more they're independent? Do they have like a guideline, or how
uh
how are they? like when they're sourcing inventory or when they're selling? Do you tell them at all anything, or is it, or it's
They're
not regulated?
No, it's not regulated at all. It's pretty free flowing. Anybody that we add to the team, we kind of put them through the ringer a little bit
Yeah.
before they even know that we're thinking about reaching out to them, just to make sure
Uh-huh.
that they're exactly what we say is they're independent. We want them to be able to have confidence to go out and do all those things when they're purchasing and making the right buys. But I say that, but at the same time, if a new set's coming up and like, maybe we get inside info that like it's gonna be popular, like the allocation's really low or whatever it is,
Hmm.
we let the team know like, hey, this is gonna be a good buy, or like, hey, we just had a show, we did really well with these type of singles, like if you guys see these, like try to get as many as you can because they do really well on stream, or people really like them. It's sometimes it's not always about making money. It's about providing the product that your buyers want to see, that customers want to see. Like prismatic evolutions is a perfect example.
Hmm.
We went to a card show here in Gulf Shores, and we had to pay over market for I can't prismatic evolutions. I keep forgetting it because I'm like confusing it with Japanese.
Yeah.
Um,
I've been
we had to,
all week. Yeah, I've been doing the same. I'm
yeah,
like
it's
prismatic,
like
or what's the
just
Japanese
have the
one?
same
Or like, yeah,
name.
right. Okay.
Like, what the heck? We had to pay over market for it, and there is some people upset that they're saying we're supporting the higher prices, so they're not going to go down. But the way we look at it is, I'm buying this product because I want to be able to provide it to people that don't have access to it.
Right.
And Whatnot is such a huge platform. We can open that box, we can start every single pack at $1. So everyone has the opportunity to get some of the brand new product, where if they've gone to Walmart or Target and they're sold out, they have that opportunity with Vortex. And um, it's not always about making money. It's about keeping our customers happy, keeping our buyers happy, providing the product that everybody wants, right?
Yeah.
That's the name of business at the end of the day. If you're
Oh,
selling something nobody wants, then
right.
that's not so good.
You bring up access, and I don't think about it enough because I live in New Jersey, and we're very spoiled here, and we have a card show every weekend or twice a weekend, and
Hmm.
we have cards everywhere. And but if you're someone that lives in the rural area, or somewhere that doesn't necessarily, or you have a there's a disadvantage where you're not able to have access to going to a Walmart or a Target,
Hmm.
or these places are so far away, or you don't have access to a car, or you don't drive for whatever reason, but you were able to get on to Whatnot and see these cards, and you trust the person that you're selling. And that's the other advantage of being a part of Vortex or buying from Vortex, because your streamers have been so stringently vetted, that that you could trust what you're getting from these streamers, because we've all heard the horror stories about
Oh yeah.
what of different things and bait and switches and everything like that. But hearing everything that you say about how you source your own, the people that you're working with, like, that's great. I mean, like, you want to be able that you're trusting the person that you're buying from.
Hmm. Yeah, that's so important to us. We want, if it's your first time on Whatnot, it's your first time in one of our streams. It doesn't matter what channel it is. Like, we want you to have a positive experience. And we're not perfect every time. We'll sometimes cards will get missed in a package, or they get flip flopped or something. It's as easy as reaching out to us on Instagram, and we fixed every single problem that has come our way when someone reaches out to us. We really try to go the extra mile with everybody and make everybody happy. If someone buys something and they like grossly overpaid,
Mhm.
we'll always throw them extras in their package, or you know help them out somewhere else with another purchase, with a large discount, something else. Like we're not trying to bring on people that all they're thinking about is money.
Right.
Um, I feel like you can it's not just on Whatnot, any streaming platform. You can almost immediately tell when you join a show and all they're worried about is money. You can just get that vibe. When you join a Vortex show, you can definitely feel and like hear a difference in like they understand that like you're there to try to get deals because that's what everyone wants at the end of the day.
Right.
We start everything at $1 and we know that that's what they're there for. We know that they're there sometimes to they just want to disconnect, maybe they're going through something. Maybe they lost a loved one, God forbid, or like something happened in their life and they're just like, I just need to like disconnect, have fun with something in the hobby. And we try to be that outlet for people just to have a good time. We've always got music playing, cracking jokes with everybody in the chat. It's not always super dead serious, only sales focused. We encourage everybody to have a good time. And um, you know, I, I always get asked like for like streaming tips, like like I'm about to start streaming. Like, what would you guys recommend? And like one of the first things I always say is just have fun. Like
Mhm.
if you're not having fun, you're not doing it for the right reasons. And if you have fun with it, the success will come.
Yeah, I think that building the relationship with your customers is something else that they're able to do, especially if your streamers have a schedule and they know who their customer is, and there's someone who's coming back time after time. I think that's great too, especially if you're connecting with someone in the hobby who doesn't necessarily have anyone else that they're able to connect with on the hobby. I mean, like I think that Whatnot and having your Vortex streamers is a really great space so people could build these relationships and you could talk about cards with someone because I mean, not everyone has a card show or someone they could just a local card shop that they can go and just talk to a
hmm
friend about with cards. So
Yeah.
that's really nice too that you're able to build a relationship and a rapport with your audience.
Oh yeah, we have so many regular people that have been here for like over a year and they join nearly every show, even if they've only got like a second. They see we go live,
Yeah.
they're just like, "Hey, I'm doing this or this. I just wanted to stop in and say hi." Like it's so cool to me that we built like some of those relationships where people they just like they have this connection with whatever streamer it is on the Vortex platform. And it's crazy. Like we've had, at conventions, like we get like recognized, like, hey, I saw you on stream, or like I recognize your voice. Like that's crazy to me, you
Yeah.
know. But it's so cool, and we're so grateful to have Whatnot and to have just as many people as we do, just like tuning in every show, no matter what time of the day it is. We're very grateful for it. We've worked very hard and to get where we're at, and it's nice to have that sense of community for sure.
Is there ever a time that you're like, oh man, this guy is spending a lot of money? Oh, maybe it's too much, or are you?
Yeah.
Are there ever? Is there ever a time? I mean, do you have conversations with people, or are you just? Is there a way to kick them out of the stream? Like
I'm
what?
like, hey, are
How
you
do you do?
okay?
How do you? How do you deal with that? How do you tell someone, okay, like maybe
it's
we?
it's hard to judge during the stream because we'll be live for like 10 hours, and we're
Mhm.
doing like rapid fire singles, like 3-second auctions. It's and thousands of cards. It's hard to keep track of like certain people, but like sometimes when I'm streaming, I'm like, I've seen that guy's name like so many times pop up
Yeah.
that he's won something. I'm like, are you collecting for yourself? Like, I'll start like asking questions
Hmm.
like that.
Hmm.
Like, are you collecting for like a friend, for you? Like, what are you looking for? And 99% of the time, they're just like, I'm just collecting cards that I like. I'm like, oh, okay. Or, I'm like, we'll jokingly be like, well, it sounds like somebody got a new credit card or something. Or
Right.
like, sometimes we don't even have to say anything. Like the chat will like kind of take notice if someone keeps
Oh,
winning auctions. They'll be like, what do you do for a living? Like trying to get like the scoop on, how they're spending so much. But, we've had a few people like really really overspend, and I think that whatnot, like you can sometimes get excited when you see
mm,
something you really want, and maybe you lose track of how much you've actually spent. And we've helped people out with cancellations like after the fact when they're like, hey, I didn't realize I spent this
yeah.
much, like can we cancel this card or this card, and we've helped them out wherever we can. And it's definitely a spot where you can get good deals, but just because you get good deals doesn't mean you can't rack up a really big total, if you're going crazy.
Yeah, but it's good that you're working with people. And you said earlier that if you see someone is overspending, you were able to like hook them up with something else, and it not
Yeah,
necessarily, and you're not necessarily just like, oh yeah, I made so much more on this card, or so you're looking out for people too. It's not just about
yeah,
all the money.
absolutely. We don't like anything that looks gross. And when
Right,
I say
right.
that looks gross, it's like if a card is $50 and they pay $200 for it or something, like
Yeah.
something crazy. Like I'll just like look at if I have my face cam on, I'm like looking at the camera like, you went a little crazy on that card. Like, was that a misbid? Or
Yeah.
because that happens
Yeah.
sometimes too. Like where they meant to type
Uh-huh.
in like 20 and they put in 200, and someone notices and like makes them upbid or whatever. I'll like double check with them like that had to have been a misbid. Like just submit
Yeah.
cancellation, like you're good. I'm like, if you want to keep it, then like I'm gonna give you this, and this, or you know what I mean, so that they get value. They're not totally getting screwed over on a purchase kind of thing. But that's something we enlist in all of our streamers. Like you can't be gross.
Right.
It's great to make an extra $5-10 here and there on certain cards, but like if it gets crazy, then like it's not okay. You got to take care of your buyers, and that's why we have so many return buyers and new buyers. Their first purchase, they purchase on one show, it gets delivered, and a week later, like they're back in the show because we're trying to take care of everybody. So
Has there ever been times where you feel like your streamers are are not great, or not a great fit, or is it just everyone's great all the time, or how do you deal with that? Do you guys just talk to them, or is there like
yeah,
a separation?
we just have a conversation. If they handle something a certain way that is not kind of aligned with what our values are, we just kind of have a side conversation with them. And I'll be completely honest, I think that only happened like maybe February, March of last year. And coincidentally, none of those people are still with Vortex. We don't
Mm,
have a whole lot of turnover. We've actually had no turnover since March of last year, if I'm remembering correctly. Because sometimes you just kind of take a chance on someone, and you're like, hey, maybe they can grow with the brand. Maybe I can kind of coach them into, how we operate. And there's only so much you can do with some people. And unfortunately, like just because they're not a good fit for us doesn't mean they wouldn't be a good streamer or like a good fit somewhere else. But we had some early turnover for our second channel the beginning of last year, but we have such a solid team now. Like everybody's doing everything that they're supposed to be doing and more. We have so many people on our team. I want to mention names right now to like shout them out, but
shout them out, go
my
ahead.
my luck, I'll forget somebody. I don't
I
want to
know.
say anything. So I won't say names, but like you know who you are. Like if you're going the extra mile, because I'm gonna forget somebody, I'm gonna feel terrible.
Yeah, don't. I'm like, don't do it then. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna hold back, but it just I can't say enough about our team. Not saying they're 100% perfect by any means, but like they are exceeding expectations in just about every area, and it's been crazy. We started Vortex Cards January of last year, and I think we passed 125,000 followers
Wow.
in our very first year, um, which is crazy. It's
Yeah,
absolutely
it's
crazy.
fantastic. And they're on
So
24 hours a day. All three channels are 24 hours?
so Vortex breaks, Vortex cards are probably they're always 20 hours plus every day. Some days are 24, some days are 20 or somewhere in between. Vortex collects right now, I think we've got like 10 hours a week. So, we're just kind of getting it rolling and started.
Yeah.
It's definitely more of a process for hourly employees.
No,
Because
it
it's
also shows that you're being selective. You're not just picking any guy who thinks he could sell cards and throwing them up on your stream. You have to be selective. I
absolutely.
mean, you're protecting your brand and it shows me I'm a consumer that Vortex cares about the people who are buying from them because they want to make sure that you say this is light played, it's going to be light played. This is near mint, it's going to be near mint. Now I'm not going to get the wrong card or a misconditioned card, that I'm going to get exactly what I'm paying for.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny because the one streamer that we have on our third channel, Vortex Collects, they're actually an hourly streamer front that we've had for Vortex breaks. So like we haven't even added a new streamer because
You
we're
just
we're not we're
moved
so
them over.
we're very very picky, and we don't
Uh-huh.
want we understand that if we put in a lot of effort into one new person and like maybe they're not ready or they're not a perfect fit, they could end up not working out, and then we're back at square one. So we're being very selective with who we try to bring on, and a big hurdle for us is they have to be local, right? So
Mhm.
instead of being able to get streamers from any of the states in the US to stream remotely as they do now on the other two channels, it's basically dwindled down to just Alabama. So it might take us more time to find those people, but it's definitely going to be worth it in the long run, not just for us, but for whatnot, for buyers on whatnot, so that we can continue to provide that Vortex standard across the board and get to ripping more packs. Like I've been
Mm.
ripping a lot of the new EV set, not so much in English because you can't find it that much,
Right.
but the Japanese terrestrial festival, like ripping that like crazy, and it's been so much fun. I think the last time I opened it, I opened like 1,000 packs in like 5 hours on stream, with
It's
my wife
insane.
helping me, of course, because I can't process that fast. But yeah, I'm so excited to get the third channel going and just get the team together. But as I said, it's not like a big rush. We like to do things right. So.
What's the card show scene like in Alabama?
So
You
they have
got
like
any? You need
the
one?
I
Let's
mean,
go.
hey, I know you're kind of, asked me about that a couple weeks ago. Like, hey, what do you think about Alabama? And I was like, there's not much going on. I mean, we got the Gulf Coast card show. Like that was really cool. But I think they only host that like twice a year.
Mm,
Um, but other than that, I don't think there's any like other big shows, and that'd be incredible if you guys hosted a show down here. I'm telling you, there's definitely a market. Um, there's a lot more sports down here, I think, or at least at that show we went to this last weekend. It was majority sports, but I mean that's not always a bad thing. Just to have a
yeah.
have a mix of TCGs and kind of a different category for you guys for sure, because you guys are mainly Pokemon, at least from what I saw. But
Yeah. I mean, the Pokemon is definitely the biggest representation of the TCGs in our shows. but we're always welcoming any Yu-Gi-Oh or Magic. We have any other TCG. But I would love to expand out of New Jersey just to see what else we can go. And my problem would be finding a venue and then finding the vendors. But I've also found that once you start, it starts spiraling and snowballing, and it
Yeah,
grows. So, and
I
there's
think
more and more interest once you get started, the more and more people are interested. So
yeah, you could
maybe
definitely
that
get the
can,
ball rolling down here. I think you could. And you'd have we would have your back 100%, you know,
oh
if sponsorship, all that stuff, like we could do something really special down here for sure. So just let me
yeah,
know.
well, I have to get so the majority of your streamers are based out of Alabama, or are they all over the country?
They're all over. So it's really just myself, Josh, and JC down here. Everyone else is all over the place. We've got West Coast, East Coast, Midwest, North. I don't even know what you call that, but you know, we got people
Nor
like
I know that there are a couple in the Northeast that come and vended our shows, and they're really solid guys. They're, I mean, not just as sellers, they're just really nice people, family people who, I mean, I I wasn't shocked when one of the most recent members of your crew, that when he joined you guys, because like especially everything that you seem to be so selective.
mhm.
He's really great. So
Yeah.
I'm happy to hear it.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're such a good group of guys. I mean, I know they're a lot of the. I got three of the streamers on Vortex cards. Like they're all friends, and so I know who you're talking about. But
Yeah.
yeah, we got strong representation on the East Coast for sure. So we love that. So
What would you say to someone who wants to get started on Whatnot streaming?
if you want to get started on Whatnot streaming, I would say to be prepared to have consistent shows, same days every week, same times every week. People love consistency. They can know when to expect you. Um, just have fun with it. You know, like I said before, you got to be having fun when you're going live. And I would expect that you should well, I'm saying this wrong, but you should expect to get support from others. You know, if you've got friends in the space, raids are such a cool feature on Whatnot to be able to send viewers from another show that's ending to another show that's starting or it's in progress. You know, that's something really really cool to take advantage of. So if you have friends in the space, they're on Whatnot, lean on them for a little bit of help because every little bit goes a long way. Um, but yeah, as far as like expectations, I mean, you just got to make sure you have the inventory on hand to run consistent shows. I think a lot of people that join Whatnot, they have this idea and this grand plan of, you know, I'm going to stream 3 days a week for 8 hour shifts, but they don't realize how much inventory that really is demanding of them. You know, if you need to start with one show a week and you're streaming for 4 hours, own those 4 hours. Like be 100% 100% prepared. Have your buy it now shop ready, your auctions ready, your giveaways, your thumbnail needs to be attention grabbing. You know, knock it out of the park for that 4 hour show every Monday night or whatever it is. Then once you start killing it there and you start to get a little bit of a following, then roll out like, hey, announce to your while you're alive, like, hey, I'm gonna be streaming on Wednesdays now as well for 4 hours. Knock out those extra 4 hours and then you 8 hours a week, you're killing it. You know, you've got all the inventory you need, you're not selling out and having to end early. You want to look as professional as possible and you need to be trustworthy and prepared when you're streaming on Whatnot. So those are some big things I would recommend because that's all we did. You know, we just had I think we had like 3 shows a week we would run, and the max we would do is maybe like a 4 hour show. And once we got really comfortable with that, that's when we kind of started streaming more and more and more. And then we got to the point where like, man, streaming 30 hours a week is not as fun as it sounded. And very time consuming. You know, there's preparing for the show, there's packaging the show. You know, a solo operation essentially is a lot of time every single week. And, you know, if you're going to go at it on your own, you can 100% do it, but it's not going to be easy. If you want to be successful at it, there's a lot of hard work and long hours at first. So, but you can
So
do it. You can get there.
if you do 5 hours, 8 hours of streaming, how many hours of packaging and shipping are you generally doing?
Sure. So I'm lucky enough now that I don't have to do packaging anymore. You know, we've got a packaging team. But if I did like today, if I did an 8 hour show, I'd probably be packaging for at least 5 to 6 hours. So it can sometimes take just as long as the amount of hours that you just streamed. You know, it's very time consuming, and that doesn't count the time that it takes to like prepare the show. You know, you have to condition all the cards, you have to,
Mm.
you know, we use brand new penny sleeves, we use brand new card savers, we don't recycle old material, we buy everything new when we ship. And we present on stream because we want it to be clean and professional. We want people to get the cards the way that we would want to receive them.
Mhm.
So in that way, it unfortunately takes more time, you know, to prepare for shows. But you know, that's just something that we have to do here at Vortex. So
Yeah, you have a
it,
lot
there,
of pride in your product. I mean, like that's huge because no one wants a junky penny sleeve and a dusty old top loader. Like it's
yeah,
I mean, we've all gotten them at shows or anywhere. You're just like, oh, like ugh, ugh.
yeah. It's
Especially you're
almost like
spending good money.
gross. Yeah,
Right, right.
like
You're spending good money on these cards and you're expecting them to be in the condition that they say they're going to be. So
mhm.
it's great that you have such a high standard.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I've like been at a convention and been like, hey, can I look at that card? And they hand it to me, and it's like a card I really want. And I look at the top look, it's like sticky and glue, and I'm like,
Yeah.
never mind. No, it's okay. I'll pass. Like,
You're like,
you
"What is
know,
this?" It's like,
if you get it from Vortex, like we want you to be able to like literally take it out, keep it in the sleeve, and put it in your binder if you're a binder
Right.
collector, or we want you to be able to literally just take the card saver it's in and put it in your submission box for PSA or CGC or whoever you grade with. Like that's what we want you to be able to do because that's the way we would want to receive cards. You know, we don't want to have to mess with re-sleeving and then cleaning the card because there was glue on the top loader from an
Mhm.
old piece of tape or something. You know, we don't want to deal with any of that. So
What's your PC look like? Are you into do you have more raw cards? Do you have more slabs? What do you collect?
I got a little bit of everything. I'd say I have more slabs than anything. Funny enough, because we we primarily sell singles, but I've got primarily slabs. My favorite Pokemon is Charmander. Um,
Ah.
my second favorite that I'm kind of collecting more of now is Tyranitar. Third being Gengar, and I started collecting Tyranitar and Gengar now because I think I'm missing like six Charmanders like that have been printed. I have like all the other ones, mainly PSA nines. I'm weird. I like PSA nines because the market stays very consistent. Sometimes
Uh-huh.
tens they can just be like a roller coaster. I'm like, if I buy a nine for $50, chances are 10 years from now it's going to be worth $50. Like, you know, I'm not
Hmm.
trying to lose money or, you know, my
Yeah. No,
daughter,
that's
my daughter one day, you know, that inherits it and she wants to sell it, you know, whatever she wants to do. But anyway, I got slabs. I have a couple binders with raw cards. I've got a sealed collection, not too heavy into sealed, but you know, like really cool sets. I'll keep sealed, like XY evolutions or team up or like Pokemon Go, like kind of like the timeless sets that have a lot of Kanto because that's what I connect with a lot. That's
mm.
that's the generation that I started collecting with, and So I don't connect a lot with Pokemon outside of that. I guess besides Tyranitar, mainly with the 151. The original 151. So
Awesome. Thank you so much, Daniel, for meeting with us today and telling us more about your Whatnot channels and what it's like to break into streaming and what's the future for Vortex. It's really, really been a great time.
yeah. Thank you so much for having me. This is my first podcast ever that I've ever been on.
First ever.
So
You were so
yeah,
good.
this is
That's
pretty cool.
awesome.
I mean, I'm used to being
Yeah.
in front of a camera, I guess,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. No,
yeah,
it's
but
great.
yeah, thank you so much for having me. This is a fun time, and if you're watching or listening, hopefully a little bit insight into Whatnot or Vortex in general and what we do, and just is such an exciting time to be a part of the community, and I don't know, just really looking forward to the future. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what's next for you guys. And I'm like, maybe we can get a card show together down in Alabama. I've never been down there, so that'd be
Oh
cool.
man, let's do it. We're ready.
Yeah. What so where can we find you?
So right now, we only stream on Whatnot. You can find us Vortex Breaks, Vortex Cards, Vortex Collects on Whatnot. Our Instagram is Vortex Breaks, as you could expect. My personal channel on Instagram is Daniel_Vortex Breaks. Um, I post personal things on there, behind the scenes, upcoming stream stuff. I try to market a lot of my streamers, and I don't. That's where you can find us primarily. We're always live, so.
All right. Well, thank you very much. And we'll see you on the stream.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.